Hello YouTube. This week I've got the keys to a 2018 Volkswagen Atlas. Let's take a look. This here is the 2018 Atlas. This is an exec line. It has a V6 engine, 8-speed automatic transmission, full leather seating. We're looking at $55,000 plus taxes on the road. So it starts at, I think, $52,000 for this model, for the exec line. And this one has the captain's package, which gives you captain seats in the second row. And that's a $500 or $800 option, something like that. And so, you know, you've got a nice vehicle here. It kind of looks like a Jeep a little bit with its square hood, square front face to it. A lot of people are excited about this because it starts at $35,000, I believe, for the base model. And so it's quite a bit cheaper than the Touareg ever was. And you've got a bigger SUV. It is capable of towing 5,000 pounds, so it's not as powerful. It comes with a 2-liter 4 or this V6. Typical Volkswagen fashion, it's nicely equipped, and you've got your chrome trims around here, and then your tow hitch at the bottom, which isn't covered, which is a little bit odd. Maybe there is a cover and they took it off. I'm not sure there. Pop open the trunk here, power tailgate. And in here you've got, there is a cargo cover, which stores down here, which is nice, and then hooks into here, hooks in up, way up there, if you don't have these seats up. And underneath that, so you've got a subwoofer underneath that, with this fender system in this model. And underneath that, you've got your full-size spare tire. So there's quite a bit in this trunk here. Oops. Throw that down. Flattened out. In here you've got 12-volt power adapter, and you know, some storage and that on the sides, and some hooks for some things, and you got cargo hooks as well on the sides here. Let's take a look on the back seats and how this works. So these just flip down, you know, fairly easily, and you've got a long cord so you can reach it. It is far to pull this up, but they're light enough that it's not really that hard to pull up. And then the headrests kind of come up and lock into place, and there's a little button on there to push those back in. We'll go along the side and take a look. Nice wide door opening. This is so you can get into that third row. Now these flip up and push, so you can pop in there. We'll push this back up. Then you can hop in pretty easily. And then flip this back. One of these switches, there we go. And there's a good amount of space there, actually. And this also flips down like that, so you get a completely flat floor from the back all the way to the front. This seat also moves fore and aft. I'll show you with this one while that one's flat. So you can take this seat and move it. So that gives you a ton of room in the third row. So if you've got, you know, somebody that's not too tall in this row, bunch of kids in the car, they can move that forward, this forward, and you've got a ton of room. So you have the vents on the floor for the third row, and there's a couple of cup holders and some storage bins and that on both sides, of course. The back seat, the third row, is only 2 seats. And so with the captain's option, it's not a 7-seater, it's a 6-seater, right? So you can get this in a 7-seat, or you get the captain's seats and get the 6 seats. In the second row here, you've got some map pockets in the back, in the front row seats. These seats, these captain seats, are really comfortable compared to the third row. The third row are kind of stiff, a little bit. You can see a little bit firm, whereas these are a little bit softer. They're really comfortable, feel almost exactly the same as the front seats. And besides not being quite as wide and it's bolstered, I think they are the same. Nicely finished leather here, and you've got your fender system. You've got sunshades for that second row, so you can shade out the sun there. You've got reading lights as well, and that gigantic sunroof, the sun coming in. And it's quite big. It almost reaches to the third row, not quite. Down here you've got heated seats for the captain's seats as well, so that's part of that option, that you get the heated seats for the outside's captain's chairs. Automatic climate control, and I'll show that on the screen on the front row. Couple USB outlets, and a household 115 AC plug as well down there for you. Ton of leg room, and as mentioned in the back, this goes even back further, so I actually thought I had it all the way to the back. This, you can really lounge out in this. There's a ton of room, and so even if you pull this all the way forward, I've still got leg room all the way forward, and my feet fit nicely underneath. And this is pretty comfortable. I could sit here and give a ton of room for the back seats, no problem. All right, up front here, we've got, this is actually, it doesn't look like it at first, but this is actually a nice LCD panel. When you turn it off, it's just black screen. Really sharp, clear, easy to read. It has, in the middle here, you've got a bunch of settings. It's too much to really go through in the video, but you're the ones that you normally want, like average fuel economy and travel time and range. That's all there, of course. And then a bunch of settings for the car as well. You've got your fuel gauge at the bottom, your speedometer also with your distance to empty in the middle, and you've also got a digital speedometer right at the bottom of the analog speedometer. So that's kind of nice to have when you're not 100% sure, if you're trying to get right to the edge maybe of a speed limit. You've got your tach on the left and your average fuel economy, and the temperature gauge over there as well. So it is really nice to read, clear and sharp. On the steering wheel, you've got your cruise control with radar cruise control on this model. And interestingly, Volkswagen gives you all these options. You've got the plus and minus, which will bump you up 10k an hour, and then you've got resume and set, which will bump you up and down 1k an hour. So if you really want to get that speed dialed right in. Over on the right hand side, you've got your radio controls, and as you saw there, when I move my hand, the bottom bar, it comes up whenever you get close, so it's got a proximity sensor on there. And this is the new Volkswagen systems. It's very responsive compared to the old ones. It's a lot faster. It comes right up and it works really nicely. It's got navigation in this model as well. And then you've got a bunch of displays for your fuel economy and other car information in there. And some apps and that. So that's whenever you connect to your phone so it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. Also in here, I'll just start this guy up. So the start button is down here, and it's got an electronic parking brake, and you've also got modes. So regular driving mode, you've got a snow mode, and it's like sand and rocks or something like that. And it's also got the parking cameras, so we turn that on, and you can see a 360 view of the camera, and you can hit kind of where you want to see the front, the rear, the right side, or the left side. And if you put it in reverse, it does the same kind of thing, so same as the camera. You've also got parallel parking, and it shows you these two blocks, kind of where those cars would be, and you'd be parking between them. And it also shows you an overhead view for a trailer hitch. Right, so you can hook up your trailer. It gives you a nice line. Hopefully the camera picks that up. Yellow line right down the middle, and a kind of a sensor area, so you know exactly when you hit that hitch. If you so if you hit that button there, this is a self-parking mode. So put it in reverse. It says please turn signal on and shift into reverse. So auto steering active, check your surround area. So this will park itself. I'm not going to do it. There's nothing around here really to do that with. So it's also got, it's an 8-speed automatic transmission, and 3.6 liter V6 in this with 276 horsepower. So in this transmission, it's not a DSG, it is an automatic, and it does have a manual shift mode. It does not have paddle shifters, but it does have the manual shift on the stick itself. You got your automatic climate control here, and if you hit auto and then you hit, you gotta remember where the button is. There's a menu button right there. So you hit the menu, it'll show you here your temperatures for your 3 zones, and you can set those in here. And you've also got heated steering wheel, which you can also set on the screen, or you can set it here and then that'll light up. So you've got 2 options for your heated steering wheel. It has both heated, 3 setting heated and for driver and passenger, and cooled for driver and passenger as well. I'm going to move this down so you can see in here we've got auxiliary audio in and a USB and a 12 volt adapter, a couple cup holders, and a large center storage which fits 3 water bottles easily. We took this on a road trip, and it's got a USB in it as well. Up top, you've got your settings for your lights and the gigantic sunroof, as well as the control for the shade on the sunroof. And if you hit that there, it's a one-touch close. It takes quite a while because it is gigantic, as I said. You got your home link for your garage doors here. And lights turn on with the mirrors on the sun visors as well. Yeah, so, this is kind of like a rubbery leather when you got your wood grain trims and that. It's a nice looking vehicle, that's for sure. Let's take it for a drive and see how it is. So you put your foot in this thing, it does move along. I mean, it is a heavy vehicle, but so originally when I first got it, I was kind of thinking it's really slow. I think that's just kind of the programming they've got in there to save fuel. It's shifting really quick in the 8-speed automatic, so it's always shifting up so you don't have that much power. But if you put your foot in it, get it to downshift, it does have plenty of power. I had this thing going pretty darn quick on the highway, and it really rides really smooth. I was really impressed. There's a little bit more kind of wind noise and road noise than I'd expect in this price range. I drove it in pouring rain, and there was a ton of rain noise coming in on the windshield. So the windshield is not one of those kind of acoustic windshields. I expected a little bit less rain noise than that. It was raining pretty hard, but it was very, very loud in here. So other than that, though, it's an SUV, 7-seater SUV. It's not going to handle like a sports car. It's a soft kind of suspension. It really soaks up the bumps with the big wheels, and it's easy to drive. It's not too big. It feels a little bit big when you're sitting in the driver's seat at first until you get used to it, because it has a long, wide, flat hood. So you see that flat hood, and it just looks really, really big. When you drive around on a perfectly repaved road, this thing is super quiet and smooth. Although, as I did just mention, there's a little bit of wind noise. I hear some wind noise coming from this door here on the left-hand side, so it does have a little bit of wind noise on it. There you have it, 2018 Volkswagen Atlas. An easy name to pronounce, finally, from Volkswagen. Easy SUV, I think, to live with. Quite a bit of space, good towing capacity, and easy to drive, and fairly easy on your wallet as well. If you get a base model, you're looking at just over, you're probably on the road, you're at 40,000, and a fully loaded, nicely equipped model, and you're on the road at 60. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.